Hello, I'm Bill Lampton, often referred to by my clients as the speech coach for champions, and I'm holding in my hand this book, You Are the Message, by Roger Ailes. You may know Roger Ailes as the chairman of Fox News. Prior to that post, he was a speech coach for many high-level executives, including Ronald Reagan. So we can listen to this man's advice about speaking. The title of Chapter 11 is one I want to spend a few minutes talking with you about. Lighten up. You're wearing everybody out. Ailes says that nothing is more tedious than a person who takes himself too seriously. And of course, he's talking about when we speak. One of the ways that we can lighten up in regard to our speaking is in thinking about the potential consequences of our speech. We put way too much pressure on ourselves than needs to be there. For example, have you said to yourself, if I don't give a good speech, I'll be embarrassed in front of my colleagues, I won't get promoted, I could possibly lose my job, my reputation will suffer, I'll be the laughingstock of everybody who was there. This is making far more of the situation than is likely to happen. When I'm teaching a presentation skills class to a corporation, one of the things I often ask is, how many of you have been to a civic club meeting within the last 3 weeks? And of course, many there will say that they have been. I'll then ask the question, who was the speaker 3 weeks ago? And they sort of scratch their heads. But if they can remember that, then I say, give me a 5-minute summary of the speaker's presentation. Well, they can't do it. What does it say to us? It says to us that for the speaker on that occasion, it just seemed like an earth-shattering event. But to the audience, it was just another speaker. So let's reduce our thoughts about the potential consequences and think instead of the good things that we want to accomplish. Another way that we can lighten up when we speak is to lighten up when we enter the group where we're going to speak. How many times have you been in a group where someone is going to speak? You look up on the stage or the podium, the lectern area, and this is what you see. You see the speaker frantically going through notes, got a pen in hand, making marks, going over the material. That's a very heavy way to prepare. The lighten up speaker would be the one who, prior to the speech, is out mingling with the audience, meeting people, catching their names so he can refer to them during the speech, asking their opinion about the speech topic. Mingle, get to know people. This way, when you stand up, you've already got quite a few friends. Even though you've only known them for a few minutes, these people are more supportive than they would be had you been a remote person up on the stage waiting your time to speak. Also, be sure to lighten up in your nonverbal presentation. When you face your audience, make eye contact, even as you're being introduced to speak. Also, make sure that in your nonverbal presentation that you smile. A smiling speaker looks like one who's confident, looks like one who's very happy to be there and is excited about the message. And also, in your nonverbal communication, be mobile. Don't just stand sternly behind a lectern, gripping onto it as though it were a life preserver and you just gotten off the Titanic. No, move about, move away, get out among your audience. That's one of the advantages now of portable microphones. Another way to lighten up is to lighten up your language. Avoid big words. People there don't have a dictionary, and they don't want to hear words that belong in the dictionary and not in the speaking vocabulary. So instead of saying fortuitous, say lucky. Don't say peruse, say read. Don't say optimum, say ideal. Don't say surrogate, say substitute. In other words, keep the language very simple, plain, and unadorned. Also, lighten up your content. Okay, if you're speaking in a staff meeting with your organization, there's certain facts that you must present. Definitely, you have data that you've got to share with the group in your report. But at the same time, you'll keep your audience attentive and responsive if you sprinkle in some lighter items, such as personal illustrations, our biographical sketches, our relevant quotations, our spontaneous, tasteful humor. Someone once had me review a book which was titled, "Wake Me Up When the Statistics Are Over." That's not all that an audience wants, even in a business meeting. Lighten up that way as well. Additionally, lighten up the length of your presentation. Suppose that in your regular weekly staff meeting, you've always given about a 20 to 25 minute presentation. You will be much better off if the next time you make a presentation, get it down to 10 minutes. This will be a way of lightening up your presentation that your listening audience will truly welcome. Speak not in paragraphs, but speak in bullet points. All right, I've given you 6 ways to lighten up your speaking. That is, lighten up the potential consequences, lighten up when you enter the group, lighten up your nonverbal part of the presentation, lighten up your language, lighten up your content, lighten up the length of your speech. And here's a 7th and very important one. When the speech is done, lighten up your appraisal of your speech. We all have a tendency to look back on a presentation that we've just completed, or even one that we did yesterday or last week, and say, oh my gosh, think of this wrong statement that I made, the misquotation, a fact that wasn't correct, or where I had too many uhs, or where I omitted something that I should have included. Hey, the event is over. And once more, your audience didn't expect everything to go like a programmed news broadcaster with a teleprompter and many years of experience. Look at the good things that you did. Remember how you held the audience's attention. Remember the good comments that you got afterwards. And especially remember somebody saying, "We can hardly wait until we hear you speak again." So as you appraise yourself as a speaker, lighten up in the ways that I have recommended, and you'll become the speaker that audiences do want to hear again. For more of my advice about speaking, visit my webpage. You'll see the link here below. And I would love to talk with you about how I can assist you not only in lightening up, but in becoming the speaker who speaks with poise, power, and passion, and gains the attention, the agreement, and the action that you want from your audience. Thanks very much for being with me. I'm Bill Lampton.